Day, and welcome back to Coffee with the Candidates. I'm Janet Sampson from the Pacific News Center, and I'm here with Bistra Mendiola.
Hi.
Hi. So I wanted to ask, you like coffee?
Oh, yes, I do. Actually, where I come from, we drink coffee as if it was tea.
Oh, nice. So I've heard about you, and I did some research about you being a business owner and a busy mother of two. I just wanted to ask, why did you want to run for senator?
I actually just had to explain this to my 6 years old because I've been pulled away from him, preparing for interviews such as this, and working on my plan to prepare some bills for the future should I get elected. And I was preparing for something. He comes over and said, "Mommy, can I have your attention?" I'm like, "I'm sorry, baby. Mommy wants to make Guam a better place to live and work," and it just kind of hit me. I mean, how can you simplify it more than this? It's the essence of why anyone wants to go into public service. There's nothing better than to offer what you have as a skill, as a knowledge, and basically improve the lives for everyone.
Nice, amazing. So what do you feel like you can bring to the community of Guam?
Definitely a fresh perspective. As you can tell, I am not from here. I wasn't born here. I was born in Bulgaria, and I was born in a very, very different society. I was in a communist state, so it was kind of difficult to promote freedom, to promote fresh ideas. It was always a society that was very, how to say, nicely. It was an oppressed society. So once I reached 14 years of age, that's when we switched to a democracy, and that was a learning lesson that we should truly embrace our freedom here and economic opportunities. So that's one of the things. But number two is I pride myself of being a good example of success story as an immigrant and someone who had to align with the new culture, new language, learn new skills. I went from working in a regular retail store to now owning 4. So hard work, dedication, and fearlessness basically is probably the key to success. So I'm absolutely certain that I can be not only a voice in the legislature, but I can be a muscle that's going to move things around.
Amazing. Great. So you mentioned that you were born in Bulgaria. What can you tell us about your upbringing or about yourself?
That's probably the most interesting thing about me, where I was born. It's a beautiful country. It's a very small country, and surprisingly has a lot of close points with the local Chamorro culture. It's a very family-oriented culture. We cherish our elderly. We don't abandon them, and that's probably one of the things that kind of bothers me lately, because so many people are leaving off island and are leaving behind their elderly parents, and that's something I don't want to see happening anymore. So if I can bring in something better as legislation to improve our economy situation here, to provide those opportunities for the young generation, then I will be honored to do so.
Mm-hmm. Okay, great. So how do you think Guam could recover from the negative impacts of COVID, and where do you think we should begin?
I think we need to do first and foremost one thing. We need to make sure that we don't abandon our small and medium-sized businesses, because so far we've been focusing on the lower income and the public sector and the services that they provide, but we keep forgetting that it is the small business indeed that is the backbone of our economy, and it's the backbone of the taxes that we pay that supply all those public services and the services for the lower income. And if we can shift back laser focus to that demographic and that sector of our society, that's where we start. We need to inject more financing. We need to provide more loans. We need to supply the startups with more grants, because without that capital, I don't see us recovering anytime soon.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So back to yourself. How many small businesses do you own? I'm quite curious.
I currently own Vape Escape. It's a vape shop.
Mhm.
We have 3 stores and one that is a hydroculture store. It's a Crop King Hydro. I used to own Lady Cosmetics, which was a made in Guam product still business, but unfortunately, due to the economy, I had to close it down. So I've been around.
Mhm. Do you plan on reopening?
It really depends. Should I get elected, I might not be able to.
Oh. Yes. Okay, so speaking of the election, what is the primary focus of your campaign?
Number one, I think we need to focus on lowering our cost of living by all means necessary. And there are various ways of doing it. There are short-term and there are long-term solutions. Right now, we are focusing on the short-term. The long-term solutions, I think if we bring more product production here, and on the food side, of course, we cannot produce any chemicals or any heavy machinery because we're a small island. But our food production needs to revert from 90% importation to 90% production. The more money we keep in our local economy, the more money we're keeping here, and our very own island will be the beneficiary of that. The other thing is I want to focus again on the small business development because I know that it's not the lack of skill that's inhibiting some entrepreneurs from starting, but it's the lack of capital. And there are great programs, there are federal fund programs, there are USDA programs, there are SBA programs that also provide loans, but also we can find grants. As I mentioned to you earlier when we were talking, the GUMA program is one of those small business incubator programs. So more programs like these will ensure that we supply our entrepreneurs with that initial step for success.
That's amazing. Okay, so what do you think are the biggest issues on Guam?
Well, they're always top, I think, 5. But for me right now, I think it's the economy and then crime. I think those are probably the top 2 issues that are really concerning our citizens. And we see on the news, there's so much crime happening. And it's, of course, stemmed from drug use, from also economic disparity, because once we kind of put our thinking hats on, we can see that economy is closely related to crime. They're kind of intertwined. So once we start providing more higher paying jobs to our residents, once we get them out of that cycle of poverty, then I think crime will significantly be reduced. So that's probably another way to say that our path to recovery is again through ensuring that we elevate our economy.
So what do you think you can do to help elevate the economy?
Number one, I'm already working on research and development for new bills that I want to introduce. And then also took a look at the last 2 years of legislation. I have a stack of about a little bit less than 20 bills. Great bills. They're wonderful bills. And I was so shocked to find out that they never made it out of a committee. Which is sad because, for example, if we want to fight the housing crisis, well, one way of doing it is why don't we let the people that already have a home, they have an extended family, they can build an appurtenant building, which is the called accessory dwelling unit. Right now, as per our law, we can't do that. But a great bill was introduced last year and never came into fruition. Another bill was the home industry, the Cottage Foods Act. We all know that there are a lot of people out there that are selling certain food items on Facebook, but let's regulate that. Let's make sure that these people are not going to be afraid to spread their wings and flourish from home. It could be a great stay-at-home mom a business for many women that choose to take care of their kids. Mm-hmm. Or I just recently came across a wonderful dinanzi recipe, and it was done by somebody who is taking care of a disabled family member, and to kind of not only provide additional income stream, that person was experimenting with that recipe, and it was delicious. And I want to see more of that.
Yes. Wow, that's amazing. Okay, so last question. What sets you apart from other candidates?
Definitely my backstory. As I said, I wasn't born and raised here, which brings a little bit of a fresh perspective to things. Number two, I'm a self-funded candidate. I believe that by not accepting any donations from anyone, that kind of will help me to stay focused on my constituents. I will not be swayed left or right, because we all know how that works. It's a public secret. And then my resilience is probably the most important part of me, who I am as a person, because as I said, I'm a success story, and success doesn't happen overnight. Success comes with a lot of hard work, dedication, and skill, which you can develop over time. So I think that those are probably the top 3 reasons.
It's amazing. Okay, Ms. Bistra, thank you so much for joining me today. It was great to get to know
Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you. And stay tuned next time for the next episode of Coffee with the Candidates.